Penhurst first opened its doors in 1908. It housed not only the mentally or physically handicapped, but also immigrants, criminals, and orphans who could not be housed anywhere, so it became overcrowded in a few years. In 1913, the Commission for the Care of the Feeble-Minded was appointed and boldly stated that those with disabilities were unfit for citizenship and furthermore posed a menace to the peace. Patients at Penhurst were grouped into several general categories. Under the classification of mental prowess, one was listed as either an imbecile or insane physically. The patient could not be declared epileptic or healthy. Like other facilities of the era, Penhurst functioned almost completely independently from the rest of the society. It operated its own power plant, policed its own grounds, and produced its own food. Any other needs were supplied by a railroad line that connected the campus to the outside world. Penhurst could operate without any interaction with the surrounding community. It was preferred that way. In the mid-1960s, Penhurst had been open for 50 years. It housed 2,791 people, of which most of them were children. Only 200 of the residents were given any kind of education or any kind of art or recreation programs that would help improve their condition. There were only 9 medical doctors and 11 teachers. None of them with special education training. The administrators soon realized they were falling short of their ideal treatment. But with a budget short of $4 million, their hands were tied. In a documentary footage, TV10 report showed one of the hospital physicians describing how he treated a particular vicious bully who had brutalized one of his other inmates. The physician asked one of his colleagues which injection he could use to cause the most discomfort to a patient without permanently injuring them, and then he proceeded to administer the injection to the bully. This might be one of the reasons why Penhurst was hit with a wave of lawsuits in the 1970s. This included a 1974 case filed on behalf of Terry Lee Halderman, a young woman who suffered various unexplained injuries in the decade-long stay at the institution. Terry's case resulted in a landmark 1977 district court ruling, which concluded that Penhurst had violated the constitutional rights of its patients. It was inevitable the hospital would close down, but it took 2 decades of legal actions, federal judgments, and the growing financial crisis for the place to close down. By the 1980s, overcrowding, inadequate staffing, lack of funds, and accusations of neglect and abuse for decades caught up with them. So in 1987, Penhurst closed its doors. Many former residents and staff members maintain that Penhurst served some of the inmates very well. Some of the high-functioning patients received treatments and therapies they needed to prepare for the outside world, while some other patients were so mentally challenged that they injured themselves at the slightest provocation. One patient would charge into the wall head first. Such patients probably needed to be restrained for their own protection. When Penhurst closed, it suffered fewer invasions than some of the other abandoned Pennsylvania hospitals, due in part of the presence of a National Guard post and Veterans Hospital on the part of the property at that time. Today, the place is in the hands of private owners, and one of the modern functions of Penhurst is that it is a haunted house attraction. Penhurst Asylum is a haunted attraction during the Halloween season. Timothy Smith, President and CEO of Penhurst Paranormal Association, uses an enticing tagline: "They lived here, died here, and are still here." Paranormal investigators have conducted many large-scale investigations of the old asylum's many buildings and documented a variety of evidence of paranormal activity, including photos, videos, recordings of voice phenomena, and personal encounters with spirits. In the recordings are the sounds of disembodied voices uttering things like, "Go away," "I'll kill you," "We're upset," "Why'd you come here?" "I'm scared, and why won't you leave?" These findings were reported by the members of the Shore Paranormal Research Team, SPRT. The group's other findings include numerous shadows manifesting and dissipating at will. These shadows appear to be of a small female child with long black hair and long dangling arms. Doors in a rocking chair have moved without anyone being near them. An investigator was shoved from behind hard enough on a stairway to leave a deep red mark on his back. Another investigator was scratched on the arm by an unknown object when they were not by anything or close to any walls. Multiple EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, as well as EMF spikes throughout the building when there was no electricity supplied to any building there. In the Limerick building, the apparition of a woman in an old-style nurse's uniform was observed by a firefighter, police officer, and a Marine. Unknown sounds and multiple EVPs were also recorded in the Devon building. An investigator had their legs touched in the Tinicum building. Loud sounds and voices were heard coming from the Philadelphia building. Investigators surrounded the building and entered it via the tunnel system. No one was in the building, nor could they have fled without being observed. In the Hershey building, an investigator heard a female child's voice on the third floor. Ghost Adventures also featured an episode there. In an A&E special, 5 investigators locked themselves inside the asylum for 2 weeks to document the unexplained reports of paranormal activity. They have reported seeing a blackened head and shoulders pop out of the nurses stationed, documented lots of activity through REM pods, cat balls were going off especially through the tunnels, and much more. Today, Penhurst Asylum is a tourist attraction where ghost tours start at $50. Bookings for daytime history tours, photography tours, and overnight paranormal investigations have become available through the Haunted Attractions website. Proceeds from the tours go towards the upkeep of the grounds and the restoration of the remaining buildings. In conclusion, Penhurst Asylum stands as a somber reminder of a dark chapter in the treatment of individuals with disabilities. Its haunted reputation adds another layer to its complex history, attracting both seeking to explore its paranormal mysteries and those advocating for respectful acknowledgement of the past. Whether one believes in the paranormal or not, Penhurst Asylum's legacy is undeniably one of tragedy, and for some, a lingering sense of the supernatural.